Parents, we have an important question for you. If your child was licking the floor, would you stop them?
I mean, of course you would.
Right?
Right?
Maybe?
Maybe you shouldn't. There's a controversial new book. It's called Let Them Eat Dirt. It's by a University of British Columbia microbiologist and his colleague at the University of Calgary. There's the book right there. It makes the case that we're actually harming our kids and ourselves by over-sanitizing our lives. In fact, by fighting dirt and the microbes that come along with it, we may actually be raising the risk of asthma, allergies, obesity, even diabetes.
Now, I know you're left with a lot of questions after we put all of that on you. So we're here to help. Dr. Karlee Ausk is a gastroenterologist from Swedish Medical, nice enough to join us this morning. So thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So why is it when we're talking about microbes and bacteria, we sometimes hear that it might actually be good for humans?
Well, so there's many bacteria living all around our environment, including inside ourselves. And some of those are harmful and cause illnesses, but some of them are actually helping us digest our food and live our lives. And that's the big difference, is they're helping us metabolize our food and live.
I mean, we live in a society right now, our culture that is just obsessed with cleanliness. I mean, in this book, they kind of lay out the argument that, like, that could be bad for us. What's your opinion on our obsession with cleanliness?
Yeah, sometimes I think maybe we take it too far, and maybe there's everything in moderation, and there's a balance that we should have. And in the book, it talks about how maybe we're living in too clean of an environment, and as a baby, when we're exposed to all the bacteria and the pet dander that lives all around us, that's actually teaching our immune system how to live as an adult in the environment around us. And if you're not exposed to those things, then you're at a higher risk for getting asthma, allergies, and some of those other illnesses.
So where is the line? If you're a parent, you're thinking, okay, I guess I can understand exposing them a little bit, but how far is too far? What do you make of the argument that we should let our kids eat dirt?
Yeah, I think maybe not taking that literally, not cooking dirt for dinner, but I would say let them be kids. Let them play outside, let them have pets, just let them be kids, but also use common sense. When they come inside and go to eat, they should wash their hands. After they go to the bathroom, they should wash their hands with soap and water. If they're playing with somebody who's sick, they should wash their hands. But let's not go too far and be constantly sanitizing our hands with everything that we do.
I like the example of, like, it's okay maybe if they were licking the kitchen floor, but maybe don't let them lick in the backyard, for example.
Or, a public restroom.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Not a good idea.
Yeah,
keeping
not a good
the infectious
idea.
stuff at bay. So I'm wondering about you mentioned this, increasing the risk of asthma, for example, allergies, but also, I mean, potentially obesity, diabetes. I mean, there's a lot of things that our gut bacteria, if they start to go extinct, could be linked to.
Yeah, so, our gut bacteria is incredibly complex, and we know a little bit about it, but there's so much more that we still have yet to know. And there's interesting research in mice about how it's tied to obesity, and we haven't yet figured out how to harness that turning that into a treatment or a prevention of obesity. And that's where the big question is, and hopefully our future research will give us more information about.
What does this mean for adults? I know we've talked a lot about kids and how where's the line and what do you let for your kids? But I'm thinking about how many adults go into work sick. So you have that on one end of the spectrum, like, okay, I'm sick and I'm coughing all over people, versus people who come in and refuse to touch anything and they wash their hands and use hand sanitizer every 5 minutes. As adults, where is that line? At what point are we going beyond what we can really be doing to protect ourselves?
Well, I think a lot of the research in this book is really about training your immune system when you're less than 1 year old. And so that's when it seems like the exposure to all the different types of things is most crucial in just teaching your immune system. And then as adults, I think it is, again, using common sense, is trying not to expose people too much to things, but also not being overly concerned or overly worried about things unless there's some reason that you're more at risk than the average person, because you do have an immune system that helps you fight off all the things that live around us that are harmful to you.
Are you worried at all that our gut bacteria may be going extinct, at least some of them? I mean, we've been kind of obsessively washing our hands and sanitizing things for, I don't know, like 100 years. I mean, the gut bacteria that my great-grandmother had maybe is very different than what I have left. Yeah. And that kind of worries me.
It's actually, I think there's some research about that it has changed over centuries of the gut bacteria that's living in us, because it changes with our diet too. And so I think, again, it's just an area that's super complicated that we need to learn more about. and try to figure out how we can get the healthiest balance in our gut to help us avoid obesity and diabetes and all of these other problems.
What about good bacteria that we're encouraged to add to our diets in nutritional ways, like kombucha, and there are a couple other things that I know people drink. There's like a liquid yogurt that people like to have because of all the good bacteria. Is that a good or a bad idea?
So it's not a bad idea. And some people may do it and feel no better and feel no worse. And so maybe there are people who don't necessarily need it because of the bacteria in their gut are healthy. But there are other people who do that and it helps them manage symptoms, and there's research behind that. And so my general approach is if it helps you to feel better, then great, then do it. And there's likely not any harm to it.
So I want to get back to the hand sanitizer too, because I think that's everybody wants to use it these days. But I mean, it seems to me like there's a growing scientific and consensus that maybe we shouldn't be using it like we do.
Yeah, maybe just soap and water is good enough.
All right, I like that. So, so maybe when the kids come in, we can wash their hands. Maybe before they eat, we can wash their hands.
Yep.
Not send them to school with sanitizer stuck to their backpack.
Yep, and don't let them lick the bathroom floor.
Bathroom floor.
Yep.
I can't make any promises, but I'll try.
Dr. Ausk, thank you so much, gastroenterologist
Thank
from
you for
Swedish
having
Medical
me,
Center.